On today's show, the Ottawa Senators have made a roster move following yesterday's disastrous loss to Detroit.
And we're at the halfway mark of the season, so who is the Ottawa Senators MVP?
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Today is Tuesday, January 6th, and Pillsy Mad Søgaard is joining the Senators on their two-game trip.
The Great Dane is called up to the NHL. Hunter Shepard was sent back down to Belleville. And look, Ross, Steve Stützle said in his press conference this past weekend, we believe in the goaltending depth in Ottawa. Well, last night, we saw Levi Merrilainen for a period. We saw Hunter Shepard for 2 periods. So neither of those guys seem to get it done. Let's try moving down the goalie depth and see if Mad Søgaard can provide a spark here for the Ottawa Senators, because I think anyone watching that game, even some deranged Detroit Red Wings fans, could say that, hey, the Ottawa Senators were the better team that night, and the deserve to win-o-meter proved it. All the analytics proved it. But when it comes down to goaltending and you're not able to get key saves, you're going to have a hard time winning games, like Sens fans have unfortunately become to know this season.
I mean, this is the last card Steve Stützle has to play internally, right? Like, there's
Jackson Parsons up his sleeve.
I mean,
well, no, he doesn't. He would need to sign a new contract for that, right?
No, he's an NHL deal.
Oh, he is.
Come
okay.
up. Yeah.
All right. So there's another ace up the sleeve, Ross, if this doesn't work. He said he believes in the depth. How far is he willing to reach down in that goaltending bucket, though?
Yeah, we'll find out if things don't go well with Mad Søgaard. And we know there's a back-to-back coming up Wednesday in Utah. The Senators traveling there today. There's no media availabilities or on-ice skates. And then on Thursday, you've got the Colorado Avalanche. Tomorrow, we'll discuss which goalie we'd like to see in which game, assuming that Levy and Mads will be splitting these two games. But we'll get more into Mad Søgaard and what his season has looked like down in the American Hockey League and what we hope to see from him a little later on in the show. But we've talked a lot about goaltending, and rightfully so, when this team is dead last in save percentage in the National Hockey League, allowing 13 goals on every 100 shots they face. To break down the math for you on that one, just not good enough. They outshoot Detroit last night 38-20 and still fall 5-3. The offense, though, did have its moments. Brady bringing it to a 1-goal game in the third period. You get 2 power play opportunities, and you don't muster a goal, and you give up a shorty on top of it. And we're seeing some comments, and I appreciate them a lot because it takes our mind off of goaltending for just a minute, because there is a bit of an issue in the offensive zone. They were getting their shots. They had 7 shots on their power plays in the first period, and then only 6 the remainder of the game, including just 4 in the third period. And those 2 power plays, you would have hoped it would have been a shooting gallery, but it felt like guys were so set on running their routes and making sure that extra pass was going. But that only works when the passes connect, Pillsy. This looks like a disjointed unit, especially bringing it from the flanks cross seam. They tried to do it the other night against Winnipeg, picked off. That's back-to-back games now, by the way, where Ottawa's given up a shorthanded goal against. The Lowry goal on Saturday and then the Kopp goal against Detroit. So I get that your power play's got a lot of guys. You want everyone to touch the puck. I get it. But put them on net, man. Go crash the net for rebounds and try to make havoc. Your power play has Dylan Cousins, 6'3", Drake Batherson, 6'3", Brady Tkachuk, 6'4". Just get the puck in the vicinity for those guys to go hack and whack away in front. We're not seeing that setup. It's looking like one-timer or bust is the options right now.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked them to get more shots on net during the power play. And just like, Ross, we talk about momentum swings all the time. That there was that Johansson penalty, and then immediately as that expired, JBD took that slashing penalty. So you had 4 straight minutes essentially of power play time in a key part of this game where you're only down 4-3. You just scored a beautiful goal to start off the third period to make it 4-3. And then that shorthanded goal was just the dagger. And I think there was no coming back from that, even though the Sens made it interesting with that Pinto goal that ultimately didn't count. We didn't really talk about this, Ross. What did you think of that challenge by Travis Green?
I didn't like it, but that's a desperate situation. You just lost out on 2 power plays. You give up the 2-goal deficit. I think that was Travis Green hoping and praying. I would imagine, and obviously we don't know this for sure, I don't think that was a Mike King getting in his ear saying you have to challenge this. I think this was a vibes challenge for Travis Green saying, I got nothing to lose right now.
Well, in his post-game presser, he was asked about it, and he said initially they called it a goal on the ice, and then, like, I don't know officially they didn't call it a goal on the ice, but initially it was like, okay, that's a goal, and then they
classic huddled. NHL. Initially, but not officially.
Yeah, initially, not officially. Yeah, wow. Oh, boy. So I think that was his reasoning for being like, well, their first instinct was that it was good. So maybe there's enough of an argument that really Greg didn't have a chance to get out of the crease that they could have got it. But I honestly liked it because at that point, Ross, you're down by 2. You just let a shorthanded goal in. If you can get any sort of momentum to go your way, and then now that's a 5-4 game, I think it was worth the risk because he didn't really interfere with Gibson that much, but it's the way that the NHL is calling this. If you're in the crease by your own volition,
which
even if you can't get out after and you make any contact with the goalie, they're going to call it that way. But I did like the Hail Mary, like, hey, let's see if we can get this one.
Yeah, that was a Hail Mary from your own 5-yard line with 2 seconds left in the
Sometimes
game.
They work. Ask your Chicago Bears, Ross, who had it happen to them against with the Washington Commanders a couple of years ago. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, sometimes it does, and usually it doesn't. So I guess the strategy then, if you're a defenseman and if a player goes into the crease by himself, just knock him over your goalie.
Yeah, make sure that you keep him there. Like if he got in there on his own,
you trap him.
WWE, what do you call it? Royal Rumble, where they stay in the cage. Like, make sure he stays in that cage there and keep him stuck there because that's going to go your way more often than not.
Yeah, obviously the big issue for Sens fans last night was the disallowed goal, the first one, because no camera angle that we saw, and Amazon does such a great job with their Prime Monday Night Hockey. Like, nothing was conclusive that puck
Get more cameras. Let's go. And then I thought it was funny too, Ross, to show the first look they gave us when they were showing it after it got challenged was the fuzziest, farthest, worst camera ever. I was like, what are we doing? Use one of the other 36 cameras you got here, not this one. Yeah. But it's tough because one could deduce that puck did go out. But you can't make those calls based on deductions, assumptions, and what you think could happen. You have to see that puck over that blue line. And like you mentioned, we did not ever see that puck over that blue line, even if you could decide that it probably did go over the blue line. And that was huge because the Sens were buzzing and dominating at that point of the game. And if you get that goal there, you probably hold that momentum and make it a lot more difficult for the Red Wings to make a push. Even if the Red Wings scored that goal next and it's a 1-1 game, I still think that gives you a little bit more of an edge and you don't feel that out of it like they did after that one wasn't allowed.
Well, Dylan Larkin said after the game, speaking with Andy Petrillo, that gave the Red Wings a ton of momentum, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I'm surprised he was able to stay on his feet for that entire interview. I'm surprised he didn't just all of a sudden just fall out of character for him. But you look at what Ottawa was able to do after that, and it's like not only did that give Detroit momentum, but Ottawa's got to do a better job of sticking with it afterwards because the shots were there, but they deflated right away in terms of giving up a goal at the other end.
Yeah, but you know what? It sounds bad, but I almost don't blame them. Like, they were doing everything. They're dominating that game. You're down 3-0. They make a push, and then they're just not able to get a save from any goalie that they got in this game. So I know, and people are going to say, Pillsy, they're athletes. They always think they're in this game. Yes, of course. But, like, they're also humans. And, like, Tim Stützle, of all people, has got to be like, what more can I do here?
Yeah, they were giving it to the refs a ton tonight, and I felt like that a little bit took their focus off of the game in the second and early in the third before getting those 2 power plays. Like even there was an offside call that was made, where a hand pass rather, where it was put down and the guy who touched it with his hand hit it with his stick, which should negate it because he didn't pass the puck with his hand. He just put it down if your own player touches it. And there's a clip of Timmy all close up, sick camera from Prime. Wake up to the linesman.
Yeah, and G had one. I think it was on the Larkin penalty where he goes, for F's sakes, and smashes his stick against the boards. Oh, man.
And it's not often that you see a ref make a call like that. The other ref come over quickly, which is usually say like, hey, like that wasn't a call. And then they still call it.
Yeah, well, I think they're just deciding what they were going to call it so that it didn't look as bad on them that they actually called something. I don't know.
Wild. And credit to us because we didn't talk about the officiating at all in the postcast last night.
Credit to us.
It was brutal last night. Take the goals
for both teams,
aside.
Honestly, for both teams.
Agreed. Yeah,
there was 11 minor penalties called.
And if that's a theme now, because the game against Winnipeg, there were a ton of penalties too. Like Marshy said, these refs got new whistles for Christmas. They're trying to use them up. It's absolutely insane. Let's let these boys play 5-on-5. And the Senators do well 5-on-5 for the most part. But unfortunately, last night didn't go their way. And look, take that video from the power play goal that Ottawa did score, 1 for 6 with the man advantage Ottawa went. It was direct. It was right away. Let's get pucks on net. They scored 12 seconds into that power play because Sandy said, I'm putting pucks on net. And it was a great route by Dylan Cousins to make sure he was going downhill to the crease and was able to be there for the rebound to pot it home. So one of our keys was be disciplined against this Detroit team, and Ottawa wasn't enough. And that power play goal in the second, or at the end of the first period, really kind of crushed the Senators. And I know it was a Larkin goal, it was the second of the game, so I shouldn't say at the end of the period, although there were 6 minutes left. They did score again with 17 seconds, but I mean, your PK on that one just looked awful. I mean, they go back to the diamond and Artem Zub is at the top of the circle and his guy gets it back door, where if you're playing a traditional box style, you're defending that part of the ice a lot better down low. So same old mistakes rearing their ugly head, and Steve Staios' decision is to make a swap in the crease in the organization, sending down Hunter Shepard and calling up Mads Søgaard. What an opportunity for the Great Dane. We'll discuss that further next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Rocket Money. Let's be real. Managing your finances can feel overwhelming. Between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep on going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. It happens. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down every hidden fee? That's where Rocket Money comes in, guys. The personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Start of the year, perfect time to do this. Make sure you clean all that up. It's going to show you what you're paying for that you completely forgot about, and save you money by canceling those subscriptions. It helps you track all your subscriptions, cancel them right away with just a few taps. You don't have to hunt down all those customer service numbers and go through that big headache. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. You can join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sens with no interruptions, as well as members-only Discord access, all for just $5 USD a month or $50 USD per year. Go to lockedonsenators.supercast.com or check out the link below in our show notes. All right, Pilsy, the Senators flying to Utah today, and they are going to have a tough back-to-back coming up. We'll preview the Utah game tomorrow, of course, here on Locked On Senators. We are also going to be joined by Post Media's Callum Fraser. Looking forward to catching up with Callum. Been around the Sens for a while, writing with NHL.com. Just got the move up to Post Media. We thought, man, it's overdue to get Callum on the show. So he'll join us tomorrow for a great conversation. Pilsy, the Great Dane. We're huge Mads Søgaard guys. Always have been. Really just an awesome human being. And we've seen spurts where he can play real good hockey. 6'7", so we won't have the same issue of the shorthanded goal where he looked pretty small in net. But we also know that he has struggled at the NHL level and at times at the American Hockey League level. He's been hurt on and off the last couple of years. already missed some time earlier this season, but has been healthy of late. He was in goal for Belleville during their 3-1 loss against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, where he stopped 24 of 27 shots. His 2 previous games, though, much better. He made 67 saves on 71 shots in his 2 previous games, including a shutout victory over the Utica Comets. What are your expectations for Mads back in the National Hockey League?
Well, first off, I'm really glad Mads is getting this opportunity. Like you mentioned, great guy. We've always been rooting for him. He always gives us lots of time. He's a friend of the show for sure. Let's get that out there right away. He's got back from his injury. He's got to play a bunch more games with Levitan in the NHL, and then Hunter Shepard called up. So he's been the main guy there with Jackson Parsons. And Ross, it's kind of crazy to think how much NHL experience Mads Søgaard already has. He has 29 games of NHL experience now. The overall numbers, not too great. 3.55 goals against, 8.79 save percentage. However, his record is 11-11-3. Like,
could be worse.
He finds ways to keep his team in it when he's had the opportunity to be in the NHL. So we hope he can provide that for the Ottawa Senators. And I think, if anything, Ross, it's just good to get a spark. And not that the boys don't get up to play for Levy or even Hunter Shepard, but I think we heard Brady Tkachuk talk about Mads a couple years ago, being like, hey, this guy, we feel like he could be the goalie of the future. And we feel like when he's, I'm paraphrasing, but when he's ready to be the guy, he's going to lead us to success. So I think them seeing Mads come up and knowing that, hey, he's had injury struggles, he's had to bounce back performance-wise, and now he's getting an opportunity in the NHL. Let's give him his best shot, and let's really support him here so that he can have a good stretch. I got a good feeling about this. I know maybe statistically it might look like we're in for a rough go here with the goaltending, but I like that Steve Staios brought up Mads. We kind of thought that this would happen. Like, I don't know about you, but I wasn't completely surprised this was the move they made, especially with the back-to-back on the road coming up against Western teams too. So I'm hoping that Mads gets at least one of these games in the back-to-back. I assume he will. It'd be kind of crazy to go Levy both games when you just called him up. So let's see what we can get with the Great Dane. You had to try something different. I don't think they were going to stick with Hunter Shepard after that performance.
Mads Søgaard's actually played against Colorado twice. The numbers, as you can imagine, not great. 2 years ago, his first call-up, his first game was against Colorado. The Sens lost 7-4. There was an empty netter in there. He let 6 goals on 33 shots in his career against Colorado. Pilsy, 2 games, an .825 save percentage, and a 5.6 goals against average. Colorado's a wagon. They're going to be a problem no matter what, but there is nothing to lose with calling Mads up. Now, some were asking if he gets called up right now and then gets sent down, does he need waivers? And there is a note there that I think he has to play 10 games. I'm a little confused by the CBA here, but because Ullmark is unavailable, it can be considered an emergency recall. And in those special cases, I believe if he plays 10 games, then he will not need waivers to go back down. But what I'm going, or go ahead first, but I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah, I'll let you go. But just quickly, does he have to play 10 games or does he have to be called up for 10 games? Because for a goalie to play 10 games, like that could be like a full month. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure what the actual rules are. It's always confusing to me when we get going into the CBA and all these things. So apologies for that. But my real point here is this is an opportunity for Mads Søgaard to be the backup for an extended period of time, because we know Levi doesn't need waivers and has not played well throughout the season. And not only is it like, hey, they're not winning often enough when Levy's in net, but this could ruin this kid's confidence. And this is like the last year where he doesn't need waivers. So he's had good numbers in the American Hockey League as recently as this year when he got sent down for those couple of games. Like, there's no harm in having Levy be the guy in the American Hockey League. Heck, they need all the help they can get down in Belleville. So you look at that from a bigger picture perspective. And if you're Mads, like, you know that the opportunities are slipping away one call up at a time here. He had 2 games in the National Hockey League last year. One, he went in relief after Anton Forsberg allowed 3 goals on 5 shots against LA, funny enough, the team he signed with, and he won that game. Now, was it pretty? No. Shout out Zach McEwen and Josh Norris, 2 tucks each in that game. They win 8-7 in overtime. And then I was boots on the ground for his other game in Winnipeg, where the Sens went up 2-0 and then allowed 4 straight goals. But that, of course, was when the Winnipeg Jets were a President's Trophy winning caliber team. So these are tough situations that Mads is getting thrown into against good teams, but he's not a kid anymore. He's 25 years old. This is the time where we talk goalies take longer to develop. Well, it's showtime now for Mads, and I think he understands that. He knows there's pressure on him here, but he needs to dial in and perform because we still believe in this kid. He's given up some real bad goals at the NHL level, but he's also stolen a few games too throughout his time. So this, to me, it's a lot more exciting than watching a 31-year-old Hunter Shepard go in complete mop-up duty.
And keep in mind, Ross, this is a contract year for Mads. This is a big, big opportunity for him. And look, I'm not advocating for this, but if you're Mads and your agent, you also got to think, hey, this is an opportunity to play really well and show the Ottawa Senators, but also all other 31 NHL teams that you've got potential. Because unless that weird loophole with Linus Ullmark leave of absence comes into play, he can get claimed if he's sent down. And there's other teams that may be like, hey.
But he'd have to stay up in the NHL if he does get claimed.
Yes, but there's goalie injuries all around the league. Maybe teams want to give him a shot. And I know he's on one-way money, Ross, but it's only $775. So like it's not that crazy. Teams can make that work for sure. Absolutely. So this is a big opportunity for Matt, and I really hope he makes the most of it.
Yeah, me too. The AHL and obviously Belleville's been leaky defensively as a whole, but other than that shutout in the last number of games, it's 4 goals against pretty much every game down there. He did have 3 against in the last game, so we're working in the right direction, but he's got to be ready to go. And it's on the road. It's not going to be easy games. It's showtime for Mads Søgaard. Let us know in the comments your confidence level in Mads and if you think he is the guy for the short term while Linus Ullmark is away. By the way, Linus Ullmark, as reported by Bruce Garriock, was in the building last night watching the game, which gave me a huh? You think leave of absence, like you leave.
Yeah.
But if he's in the building last night, I don't know if, like, obviously we don't want to speculate about what's going on, but you can speculate when you see a guy in a building where you play hockey for a living. When is he going to play hockey when he's in the building?
Yeah, it certainly is interesting, Ross, that he was there because, like, obviously you want to, even though you're on a leave of absence, you want to support your teammates, your friends, your colleagues, and
also stay in shape. Like,
yeah, totally.
The facilities there, so that it could be as simple as he wanted to get his workout in, and you would do it at the time where the game is on because that's when your body needs to be ready to go on any given day.
Yeah, I guess, but it
is strange weird. Though, right? Like it is
because
strange.
That's not going to go unnoticed. Like people are going to notice you're there.
No one Scoops is sniffing around.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so yeah, interesting. We hope Linus comes back sooner than later though, because I know he wasn't playing up to his standards, but
he could still steal you a game on any given night, which we haven't seen since.
And it just gives you that comfort of knowing you're paying this guy the big money. He's going to be one of your guys.
Sink or swim with the guy you go to the guy you're paying to.
Rather than be like, okay, Levy pulled first period, bringing in Hunter Shepard. Didn't like what you see from him. Bringing up Mads for his first NHL game of the season. Like the unknown and the goalie carousel is just
that's tough for your player.
Good teams don't do this. Let's just say that.
No, and all due respect, I don't need to see Hunter Shepard play another NHL game.
Yeah, I wish that they would have given him a chance to know that he's starting. I know how you feel, Ross, but I feel like they should have at least given him the opportunity to be like, hey, you're starting on this day. Get ready for it. This is your game. Because throwing him in there, like that was
for sure. And it's
not
hard.
Really a fair opportunity.
It's hard to come off the bench, but that's the role that he has.
Totally. But I feel like if you're going to call a guy up like that, at least give him one fair shake at it.
I guess the other side of that is because of the Christmas break and the way the schedule's gone out, there's no back-to-backs. You were at home for the
They got a
majority of it.
back-to-back coming up right now.
Yeah, and you want his first start against Colorado? Like, that's not going to go well.
I mean, any goal you're going to play up against Colorado is probably not going to go well, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, Daniil Tarasov did just beat the Colorado Avalanche with Florida.
Are the Florida Panthers back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions?
Yeah,
Yes or no?
Yeah, but they were also tied with Ottawa in the standings just a couple of days ago. They've obviously moved ahead, and the Sens are hosting the Panthers on Saturday night. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, this is a big week. Like, enormous game in Utah, right? Like, that's the game where you're keying in saying, like, we have to get that one. Otherwise, this ship could go off the rails even more real quick. And not that ships go on rails. Nice little
this ship's going off the rails. Well, I hope so. Why did it get on the rails?
Where is it? In the locks? Hey, the Ottawa locks. You're on the rails there, buddy. You're at the mercy of the pulley system. Okay. Shout out Paul's Boat Tours. I spent so much time on that bridge between the Chateau Laurier and Parliament Hill in college and in high school too. So shout out to Ottawa. What a beautiful city. The fans there deserve better, man. The home record this season is borderline disgusting, right? Like, you look at this team last year, they had the 7th best home record in the National Hockey League. The Senators are 10-8-3 at home, which means that the great Sens fans have been leaving the CTC after a loss more than a win this year.
Especially, Ross, with the way the weather's been. Like, the Sens fans best in class are grinding to get to this game. The parking lot is crazy. Take the GCP shuttle. Don't worry about any of that stuff. But it's been a grind to get to games. And then leaving disappointing is it's tough on the morale of our good friends.
But you know what? You know what the Sens fans can hang their hat on? You go to the CTC, you get to watch two absolute superstars in the National Hockey League play. And we're going to debate who the Sens MVP is through 41 games this season next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. Welcome back, Locked On Senators, your team every day, part of Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. Please like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. If you or a friend have a local business that you want to shine up here on Locked On Senators, you can reach out through the link on our YouTube, or you can reach out on social media. We're at Sens Central on Twitter and LockedOn.Senators on Instagram. Billsy, just a couple notes because we've been talking so much about the Olympics. The rosters are coming out. Well, we got some hashtag Sens abroad going to the Olympic Games as Czechia, France, and Latvia all unveil their rosters. Billsy, we got a Sens abroad on each of those 3 teams.
I love it. Yeah. And the names are fun too.
Let's start with the least fun name.
Kasper Dogovins?
No, come on, no spoilers. I don't think Sens fans are going to be rooting too hard for Dominik Kubalik of Czechia.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, man, I wish Dominik Kubalik could have worked out. We had such high hopes for him.
Guy's a shooter.
Yeah.
Not much else.
But a guy that I always liked, and ever since he left, I check up on him every once in a while. Stefan DaCosta you got to tip your hat to him. He has made a career for himself playing over in the KHL. Ross, without looking,
okay,
how many games do you think he's played in the KHL?
500.
Close, 514.
Damn.
So 514.
I'm not
games.
looking.
How many points in 514 KHL games?
500.
You shot a little high there, but 462. Like,
can I look now?
Oh, I didn't know you were literally closing your eyes.
You know what I see when I close my eyes, though? There's one Stefan DaCosta highlight. And that's darkness is what Stefan DaCosta saw after this play. Dion Phaneuf crushed him.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean,
crushed.
He's not the biggest guy at 5'11",
Who's tall? He's not 5'11". Dude.
That's what EP
he's
has
not
him at.
5'11". They need to stop measuring these guys with skates on.
Yeah, seriously.
5'11", 5'8".
But he's got 29 points in 32 games in the KHL this year. Like, he gets it done. So I'm going to be excited to
How old is he?
get one KHL or Olympic highlight from him. He's 36, and I follow the KHL on Twitter, and every once in a while there's Stefan DaCosta highlights. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm more surprised Kasper Dogevins is still kicking. He's 38 years old, playing the second level in Germany, below the DEL, after playing in Slovakia. But all I need from you, Kasper, is we got one career highlight from both these two guys. Unfortunate for DaCosta, that's him getting absolutely blown up by Phaneuf in a Sens Leafs game. But obviously, Dogevins, one of the most iconic shootout attempts of all time. I was boots on the ground for that one, and there's never been a buzz like that leaving the CTC after a loss. Everybody was talking about it, and he almost, like, he didn't mishandle it. That was a great save from Tuukka Rask. Like, he had to stretch out and get a skate across to the post, but that was iconic and outrageous that he's still playing at 38. And I would imagine he's going to be the captain. He's the captain of Latvia at the Worlds last spring. So shout out to Kasper Dogevins. We're still waiting, by the way, to tie a bow on this story. Still waiting for Team Denmark, and Mads Søgaard right in the mix for that. So another reason for Mads Søgaard to dial in for this opportunity here against the Utah Mammoth or the Colorado Avalanche during this quick 2-game road trip before the Sens come back home to take on Florida on Saturday night. Pillsy, 41 games now the Ottawa Senators are into the season, and if you go based on this year versus last year, they actually have 2 more points than they did at this point last year in the standings. But unfortunate for the Sens, the Eastern Conference has dummied the West outside of Colorado, and you could throw Dallas into the mix there as well. They're 2 elite teams out West, but the Pacific Division's a complete joke right now. Every team going into yesterday's games had a minus goal differential in the Pacific Division.
And they still do.
That's outrageous. Outrageous. But the East is ridiculous. We know that, but we also know that watching the Ottawa Senators play, the offensive talent and the way they defend is enough at 5-on-5 to be better than where they are right now, which is 2 points ahead of the Blue Jackets, who sit in last place. Now, they are, on the flip side, only 4 points out of a playoff spot, but it feels a lot further than that when you have 6 teams to jump just to get to the spot where you're tied with the final one. So there's a lot of moving parts, and you look at the schedule every night, there's 3-point, 4-point games, 4 points being when 2 teams ahead of you are playing. Somebody's getting them. So I guess, no, there would still be a 2-point game. It's only a 4-point game when you lose that one.
And you're involved, yes.
So that was last night. But tonight it's Florida taking on Toronto. So it's like, who you want in that one? I guess you just go, I hate the Leafs the most. And you go, hey, Florida, they're probably going to find a way in the playoffs, and you want to kick the Leafs while they're down?
Definitely. Yeah, that's definitely.
In regulation.
Those are a heavy 4 points away from the playoffs. Like, that's not a light 4 points. That's heavy lifting you got to do.
It is. But through 41 games, there are some great storylines for the Ottawa Senators, including the MVPs of this team. And no surprise, it's 2 of our 3 players from the top tier in our summer organizational value rankings. The one guy who's not in the mix, of course, Brady Tkachuk. You missed 20 games out of 41. You're going to have a tough hill to climb to be in this conversation. So we didn't even tease it off the top saying, who's the Sens MVP? No idea. It's Tim Stützle or it's Jake Sanderson. Pillsy, who gets the edge for you?
This isn't going to be so much, at least in my opinion, a debate like, no, this guy should get it over this guy. Like, this guy's clearly the number one.
Do you want to actually just do a quick honorable mention first? Because there's guys who are...
Yeah, let's do honorable mentions.
Drake Batherson deserves an honorable mention. I know the passing hasn't been great the last couple of games for him. A lot of turnovers, but as a season for him, and especially you missed the end of training camp, you missed the first 3 games of the year. Like, that's tough to get on the treadmill once all the boys are already full tilt. But Drake Batherson's had a heck of the year. So I think he deserves a shout out in this segment, but not in the mix with these 2 other guys.
Yeah, I looked at him and then tried to compose an argument why he's the MVP, and I just couldn't do it over Tim Stützle or Jake Sanderson.
Yeah, me neither, but he is tied with Timmy with 3 game-winning goals for the Ottawa Senators, and he's got 39 points in 38 games. So stick taps to Drake Batherson for sure. Do you want to give one more honorable mention?
I don't think I have one. Like, I thought, like,
I can.
Okay.
Claude Giroux.
Yeah, I was gonna think Claude Giroux, but I mean,
Leads the league in face-off percentage, and he's a +10 on this team. Leads the team.
Totally, but man, I'm the face-off guy, and I've been harping on the face-offs, and winning all those face-offs hasn't led to that much success for the Sens, unfortunately. I'm not trying to take away from how impressive that is, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to try to convince people that he's the MVP. Like, we're giving shout-outs for good seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, people thought that he was going downhill, right? He goes from 79 points his first year in Ottawa, then down in the 60s.
76.
Then down, he had 50 points last year. So people are like, oh, you're going down that direction. Well, he's on pace for 58 points.
Yep.
Bouncing back closer to what he was 2 seasons ago. And he's playing a more limited role without being tied to Tim Stützle as much as he is. So those are the honorable mentions here. We'll give it to Claude Giroux and Drake Batherson for that. But your answer here, Tim Stützle or Jake Sanderson?
I'll go with Jake Sanderson, Ross, just because of how much this guy is depended on by the Ottawa Senators. He is 5th in the entire National Hockey League when it comes to time on ice. I had it here, of course, when we're going into talking about it. I lose it, but I'll get it quickly. 25-18 average ice time per game. That's almost half the game. I believe it's around 41%, math guy. There's a bunch of categories that he leads the Sens in and that he's relied upon. First, blocks. Leads the Sens in blocks with 77. Second, takeaways. Leads the Sens in takeaways with 23. He's a top pair defenseman. He's on the top power play. He's on the top penalty kill. Anytime there's a serious situation or a momentum swing, or if you're at home and Travis Green sees the other team put their top players out, he's tapping 85 on the shoulder and saying, you get out there, whether it's a defensive zone draw, neutral zone draw, or offensive zone draw. Whether the other team pulls their goalie or the Sens do, he is the number one defenseman out there. Jake Sanderson is truly a number one defenseman. And imagine where this team would be without him. Like, again, props to Thomas Chabot, but this team was not going to ever be successful if Thomas Chabot was their number one guy. Thomas Chabot needs to be the number 2, and Jake Sanderson coming into his own and not even entering his prime yet, Ross. Like, keep in mind, Jake Sanderson is 23 years old. I would say prime for defensemen is what? 25 to 28, 29, like those mid to late 20s. So he's gracefully getting into his prime while already looking like a seasoned vet. I know I've talked about in the past, hey, they got to get his ice time down. He's playing too much. But that's not because I've looked on the ice and been like, Jake Sanderson looks gassed out there. I don't think there's a single shred of photo evidence of Jake Sanderson looking tired at any moment in time. So for me, I think you got to start with your defensemen. They're so important. Jake Sanderson has been the backbone of this team, defending and creating offense. I think Jake Sanderson deserves a lot of credit and is worthy of this team's halfway point MVP.
Yeah, he's got 30 points in 41 games, 8 goals. He had 11, which was a career high last season in 80 games. And what also just shocks me when you talk about how much he's on the ice against the top players, he has 2 minor penalties all season.
Yeah, definitely.
He is an incredible talent. And just looking at NHL Edge stats for fastest players on the ice, the most speed bursts by any player, over 22 miles per hour. The only other defenseman that's tied with him at number 1 is Matthew Schaefer. They both have 19 speed bursts of over 22 miles per hour. Erik Karlsson is 3rd with 13.
Where's Cale Makar?
6 less.
Wow.
He's 4th with 12.
Okay.
And Zadorov is 5th with 6.
What?
he's an enormous human being, right? You get
Crazy.
that engine revved up, you go. But I'm just showing you that the 5th defenseman with the most speed bursts over 22 miles an hour has 6, and Jake Sanderson has 19, tied with Matthew Schaefer for the most. If you go with speed bursts between 20 and 22 miles an hour, he's 2nd behind Matthew Schaefer. And there's another big gap underneath him. Olin Zellweger's 3rd, Cale Makar 4th, Lane Hudson 5th, Quinn Hughes 6th, Zach Werenski 7th. These are elite defensemen that fly around the ice. totally deserving for you to go with Jake Sanderson. But I'm going to go again with Ottawa's most explosive forward, and that's Tim Stützle. And he's on a 13-game point streak, so it's timely for us to be having this conversation. But what I love about Tim Stützle, beyond the superstar qualities that we've called since before the draft, that he was going to fill the rink with seats, and you're not going to have that ass on the seat a whole lot because you're standing up most of the time watching this guy play with the electric hands, the vision, everything that he brings, and he's shooting the puck more, which we love to see. Do you know how many players have more 20 to 22 mile per hour speed bursts than him among forwards in the National Hockey League? There's 3 skaters that have more speed bursts. Can you name them? You better get 2.
Connor McDavid.
Second. No. Or sorry, first.
Okay, I was going to say he's got it first. Nathan McKinnon.
Second. I don't think you're going to get the third one, but the third one's tied with him. So only those 2, McKinnon and McKinnon and McDavid. It's all Max at the top of the league right now. They're the only players with more speed bursts, 20 to 22 miles per hour, than Tim Stützle. He's tied with Marty Necas.
I would not have gotten Necas.
Yeah. And then Braden Point's 5th behind those guys. So that's the key for Ottawa, right? They're a fast team, but they're also a forechecking team. And I think that's something that gets lost when outside people talk about Tim Stützle. He finishes his hits, man. He's hard on pucks. And I know that people say that he's a diver. I disagree. I think that he is a guy that uses his edges a whole lot and goes down often. He draws a ton of penalties. So I think that from that standpoint, that's actually a skill that Tim Stützle has. The fact that he's able to draw guys in and make sure that they're taking stupid penalties. He leads all Ottawa Senators in drawn penalties by 7, Pilsy. Nick Cousins is second with 15, but how many of those 15 has he also taken a penalty? Right? The net penalty differential in the Sens, guess who's number 1? Tim Stützle, plus 11. Guess who's number 2? Jake Sanderson at plus 7. So you look at these 2 players and you look at how Ottawa is shaping up. For a long time, it was Ottawa needed that elite talent that could match any team in the league. I'm not saying Tim Stützle and Jake Sanderson are there with the McCarrs and McKinnon combos, or even you can throw, I know they're 2 forwards, but McDavid and Draisaitl, like the guys who just take over the game every single night. But at 23 years old, both of them right now, Timmy for another week and a half and Jake for the rest of the season, these guys being locked up can give any Sens fan hope that there's not going to be a full teardown rebuild anytime soon. You might have disappointments and you might have trouble stopping the puck, but as long as these 2 guys are Ottawa Senators, you have a chance to win any game you play.
And I mean, Tim Stützle is currently on a 13-game point streak. Like, just every night he's doing something. And we talk about Sens Central standouts every postcast. I bet there's only 5 or 6 games of 41 where he wasn't one of them, if not the first one all of us want to mention. Like, he's just so good. You talked about the hits, Ross. He's 3rd on the team in hits behind the Cousins, Dylan Cousins and Nick Cousins, and ahead of Fabian Zetterlund. Like, this guy plays a physical game. I talked about takeaways for Jake Sanderson. Tim Stützle's right behind him. Jake Sanderson has 23. Tim Stützle has 20. Like, he's really found a way to impact the game more than just playmaking. And you got to give so much credit to him as he's a guy that's coming into his own. And I think we're going to see multiple 100-point seasons from Tim Stützle throughout his career. And he's at 45 right now, so he's on pace for 90. And I wouldn't be surprised as these games get more important and as the Ottawa Senators ramp things up, that he gets that uptick and gets to triple digits here.
Where do you think he ranks among Sens forwards in block shots?
Well, I know Jake Sanderson's first a defenseman. Forwards, or for the team overall?
Yep. No, forwards.
Yeah. Forwards, I'll go 2nd.
He's 1st. Nobody's blocked more shots among forwards for the Ottawa Senators than Tim Stützle's 30.
Okay.
So he's an all-around stud. And I get that the electric offense is what people are going to focus on, but Tim Stützle's a complete player. And I still laugh at those who, as recently as last year, say try him on the wing. This guy is a hard-nosed centerman. And, I mean, one last point on Timmy, and, I mean, who would have thought that he'd be where he's at in the face-off dot?
Yeah, he's been very good in the dot. And I got to give him a lot of credit, Ross, and I'll sliver off a piece of that credit pie to you. Tim Stützle has turned out to be a very good penalty killer.
Very good.
And I wanted him off the penalty killing unit, mostly just to cut down his ice time because he plays in so many situations, and I thought other guys could step up in that area. But he brings that offensive threat. He's gotten a handful of shorthanded breakaways just in the last couple of games. It seems like you're always seeing one of those. So he's been a big part of that penalty kill, even though they're still one of the worst penalty killing units in the league. It's not Tim Stützle's fault.
No, and they talked about too, now that they have Ridley Gregg too, but also Shane Pinto back in the lineup, that it's like they've got two set units on the PK now, where you've got Timmy playing with G, Ridley playing with Shane, and now you can kind of build off of that. And the penalty kill has been good for until last night, and maybe even after, because they did kill 4 out of 5. They were the top power play, or the penalty kill was best in the National Hockey League since the start of December. Like it was just such a horrible October and November for them. It is getting better. Tim Stützle, a huge part of that, and he averages almost 2 minutes more per game than any other forward on this team. Shane Pinto at 19 minutes, Tim Stützle at 20 minutes and 46 seconds. So there's a great argument for both of these guys. I'm going with Tim Stützle. Pilsy's going with Jake Sanderson as who is the Sens MVP. Let us know in the comments what your answer is at who you consider to be the most valuable member of the Ottawa Senators. Pilsy, I want to read the answer to the poll we put up last night on Twitter at Sens Central. We brought it up in the postcast. Who should the Senators start Wednesday in Utah? And this actually came before the news that Mads Søgaard was getting called up, but we put him in the poll, so scoops on that one. And after 500 votes already, Mads Søgaard is the leader at 44.4%. Levi Marilainen coming in close behind at 43%. The rest went for Hunter Shepard. We'll find out tomorrow when the Senators take the ice for the morning skate. We'll break it all down on tomorrow's Locked On Senators. An enormous game considering it's a interdivision or interconference game, but the Senators need these 2 points on the road in Utah. Pilsy, any final thoughts on today's show?
No final thoughts for me. This is a long episode. We got a lot of thoughts in. We did a long postcast too. This is an interesting time for the Ottawa Senators. I guess final thoughts for me, Ross, stay strong, Sens fans. Stay strong.
There you go. And we will be back tomorrow to be strong for you on a game day preview. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. Please subscribe everywhere you get podcasts, including on YouTube, and leave a 5-star review. Leave a comment below on YouTube as well. Who's your Sens MVP, and what are your expectations for Mads Søgaard during this call-up? Thank you for listening to another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.